Back in the saddle again. Back in. You guys want this? You guys like this one? No, you don't like that one. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR show.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hangover edition here. Man, it's nice to have our first hangover of the offseason or the preseason.
Back in the saddle.
Back, see, it's taken over. On today's show, we have some great topics today. Why? The NBA GMs did their annual survey. They were surveyed on what they thought of players such as Nikola Jokic, the Denver Nuggets as a whole, Michael Malone, maybe even. And they had some very interesting answers. Also, ESPN's player rank, maybe to me even more. Am I into player rankings now, guys? Have I turned a corner?
I mean, it's hard to say no.
It's hard to be in this business if you're not into player rankings.
You are the foundation of every.
They're
NBA,
such a core part of NBA
every podcast
discussion.
It's like 85% being outraged to other people's opinions.
Yeah, it's a key tenet of the NBA media sphere.
Finding some ranking and just being like, oh my God.
I will say, when they validate my opinions, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, that is true. That is true when people agree with you. We're also going to start with some hangover takes. We didn't get to hear what D-Line thought about Julian Strawther, among others. So we're going to get that today. To help me out, Mitch, can you tell them to turn the music up louder?
Yeah,
it's a little too soft right now.
Let them know we're back in the saddle.
Over here, we're in the Colorado fall outfit. It's Brendan Vogt.
I can't get the weather right. I've had a rough week. My phone keeps saying 70s, and then it's either in the 80s or the 60s. So enough's enough. Enough's enough. I'm out on technology, you know?
Yeah.
We've gone too far.
By the way, he runs our social.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Fourth most followed account in the network, baby.
Vote's the new Jeff Morton. Shouts to the King of Thornton.
Yeah. And that TikTok.
Over here,
King of Autumn.
writing banger after banger, Harrison Wind.
I mean, it's easy to write about Julian Strawther when he just plays a perfect basketball game.
Wow, perfect, was it?
It was pretty close to perfect.
It was pretty dope. I don't want to tip the first segment.
Yeah, don't tip the first segment. And then over there, the man with the plan, D-Line Co.
That's right. My plan has fallen way off course, but all the same, I'm here, guys. Let's go.
So yes, the Nuggets played their first preseason game yesterday. Very interesting game, I thought. Very interesting. We gave our takes in the immediate aftermath. I know, Wind, you did a little deep dive on Julian Strawther. We'll get to that in a second. But Eric, you were not on the Winners Lounge yesterday. What was your takeaway from watching that game?
Suck it, Suns. We still own the Suns. Let's go. No,
Were you genuinely happy that they won?
No, I mean, well, yes, in that it's fun to just.
Yeah.
Like it's at least you get to like smirk for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously no. But no, I don't know. Like Julian Strawther was unbelievable. It's crazy because we've seen him play. We saw him play several times in summer league. He looked way less confident in summer league than he did actually in some form of the NBA. He was unbelievable. Like Dev and I were watching, and his shooting form is just so impressive. The way he gets square, his feet are pointing the right direction every time. He's just like very repeatable, which is like super encouraging. And Peyton Watson looked really good.
Well, hold up on Strawther's shooting, because to me, repeatable, sure. But to me, it was the speed, man. Like, his weird shooting form. Like, I think the right shooting form is really good, but almost weird shooting form is better if you can perfect it.
Yeah.
He has the one where he just like, it's not even a motion. He just kind of like glitches his hands.
Yeah, D-Line, this is why I always say ball, because his
You always say that.
footwork was elite. His footwork was impeccable. How he squares his shoulders when he's coming around the three-point line. I think it was his first three that he hit on the move, coming around the top of the arc.
But his shoulders
how
get
he
square.
squares his shoulders, squares his feet. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Like his shooting fundamentals are elite. And I love that last night.
Like this is what the way I watch basketball is through like player movement for whatever reason. Like that's what I see. And his was just, and it's funny too. Like, you can like I've had this happen to me a lot where I've like watched a player play several times, and like one time I like think to gauge how big they are, like, and I was like, he's way bigger than I realized, and I watched him in person. I don't know how that, like, I don't know what
but on the screen he looks
yeah,
bigger.
dude, or like on the, I don't know. I was like, damn, he looks huge.
That was my big takeaway too for the game, is he just looks the same way Christian Brown looked really big when you first saw him. Like Strawther, the same thing. And the thing that I loved most about your article today, when the clips that you put, the shot, like, we knew that was good, and the quickness of it was great to see. But Jokic does this too. Jokic's long, he's not quick, but he just plays angles defensively. You're going to shoot and hit a jumper in his eye from mid-range, so be it. Do that a million times, you might beat him. Julian last night had some closeouts where he wasn't overly aggressive. He was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take away the 4-foot shot and make you take the 9-foot shot. And with his length, man, it's kind of hard to shoot over him.
And I think part of that we should have seen coming, because he played at Gonzaga.
Yeah.
He played in a pro
He was
style.
the first draft pick for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of signs that we should have picked up.
Yeah, but the fact that he played at Gonzaga and played in a pro style system and played around a lot of other pros, that counts for something. And then you throw him on an NBA court in his first real NBA action, and he just looks like a pro. He does stuff like a pro is supposed to do stuff. Didn't take too many chances, just played it kind of safe defensively, but also just sound and solid, and his technique was good, and he just knows the game, man.
But I think fair to categorize it as a pleasant surprise. It wasn't on the scouting report, the proverbial scouting report, coming out of college, that he was a stalwart, and in fact, maybe even a question. But then early on, Michael Malone told us one of the things that stood out to him is that he's been in the right places defensively. So it wasn't part of the early rep. I think sometimes when you're such a good shooter, that's such an easy entry point to discussing you as a prospect. The other stuff goes under discussed altogether. But it's a pleasant surprise that you can say defense through one preseason game is a plus for a guy who was brought in here because of what he can do offensively.
Yeah. D-Lan, I want to get to more of your thoughts here, but I want to do it in a very specific way. Today is our day to make a Bet365 Never Ordinary Top 5. Harrison Wind was kind enough to assemble his Top 5 list.
Kind.
And this is, Harrison, Top 5.
My top 5 standouts
Okay.
from the Nuggets preseason opener last night.
You're right.
Yeah, that was the alley-oop. That was like
Was it just the 5 stars?
come back down.
It's the old alley-oop to Mike.
Nikola
bounce off
Jokic.
his hand.
It was not Nikola Jokic. He did not make my top 5. He did
Shot
not.
11
Did not
times.
stand out.
Shot 11 times.
Yeah, but he was 4 of 11.
Yeah,
Not a
that's
great
true.
percentage, if my math's correct.
One of the worst he would have had all last year.
I
Like
know.
the second
Kind
or
of
third worst
underwhelming,
game.
to be
Called out a
honest.
3-second violation that the ref
Yeah,
weren't
that
giving.
was his best play of the night, I thought.
All right, well, let's hear it.
Well, my number 5 standout from last night is KCP. 12 points, which was tied for the most of all starters, and he went 3 of 4 from 3.
Yeah.
That's 75%.
Did he stand out to you, D-Lane?
Not really, only because I wasn't watching the starters. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they,
yeah. That's
a
they're,
good
they're just like a
argument.
given, and so like when he's on the court, I'm looking at the guy that is on the court that isn't normally on the court. But he looked like KCP.
And he also overcame a, I don't know, some people are saying it was borderline dirty play from Grayson Allen.
Yeah, some
When he
people
undercut
are.
him on his first 3-point attempt. I heard some people say that. Not me, but some people.
Yeah.
Streets are talking.
Yeah.
Did anybody actually bring that up? I think it wasn't discussed. I didn't really see much
Well, if
discussion.
he'd gotten hurt, it'd have been a discussion.
That's the
for
thing, is
sure,
it really
yeah.
was Grayson Allen's first minutes on the game. He's like, you know what
Yeah.
if I just did this?
It is the finals.
You got to love Dylan Brooks and Grayson Allen just being like, you know what? I'm him.
I
The
know
worst-
who I am.
The worst him.
Yeah.
By him, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm him, that kid you hated growing up with.
My number 4 standout from last night was Jamal Murray. 12 points, 5 of 11 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3. So he just didn't really have his 3 going, but he also had 5 assists, 2 steals, and 0 turnovers. I thought that was the big number from his night in 18 minutes. And I thought Jamal was going
How many turnovers?
0.
Wow.
Thought Jamal was going like 50% speed last night, but did whatever he wanted out there.
Can you know my standout? What was posted on social media afterwards?
Did you guys catch this?
Did you
Jamal's
catch it?
post
Go
on
ahead.
his IG
Tell
story.
me about it.
It's his guy Volk, the UFC champion, and he's talking about the defending the belt mentality. Just a little Jamal. Jamal does not get his inspiration from basketball players. He gets it from martial artists and people who fight other people.
And podcasts, I would think, like the rest of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
He does approach
Rankings.
basketball like a fight. He approaches media
ratings.
sessions like a fight.
Yep.
I do think fighting is his
Big
context.
prediction. We're going to see a lot more. He worked in his first boxing metaphor at Media Day this
Oh,
year. I think we're
let's
going to
go.
start to get a lot of these going forward.
Well, so like just indiscriminate fighting. It's MMA. It's wrestling.
Yeah, I think
boxing.
it's all
Yeah,
combat.
dude. Dogs,
Combat.
warriors. You know?
Combat, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
combat.
My man's a combat. Okay.
I mean, we're kind of laughing this off. Look, it's a social media post, but I do love it. When you told me that, when you showed me, I was kind of like, hell yeah, do it. Yeah, because it's like the way of doing it without being over the top. You know, just like, hey, here's a pro athlete champion talking about how to defend the belt. That's where my mind's at, fellas.
My number 3 standout from last night was Peyton Watson.
Let's go.
P-Watt, who had 10 points, hit 2 threes,
Yep.
had a huge block, had a steal as well. He did have 6 fouls, a little overly aggressive, but I like that out of a bench player. And I thought overall it was a positive game for P-Watt.
I loved what I saw from P-Watt, mainly because we saw from him what we have always seen, or we've seen every time he plays, which is weak side coming in to help defend the rim, making plays on defense, like playing with like reckless abandon that's actually kind of under control. He's poised in a way that like doesn't really make sense, but that's the one, like when we were talking about PJ composure, like the first thing that struck me about PJ composure was when he grabbed the microphone and gave the speech before opening night, and he was just like
Composed, some would say.
so composed. P-Watt, like some of the same characteristics when he's given interviews, like when he was giving the scouting
That's a
report
good
of all of
comp
the
right
other.
there.
He's just, there's something about him. He's just like has a confidence about him that
Yeah.
carries over into the way he plays, even though he plays like so athletically. And like the one thing that I was like really impressed by with him was that his shot looked really good,
His shot did look smooth.
which is not something that I felt like like his shot looked weird and kind of like it was maybe his 3rd or 4th or 5th strength in summer league, and like it actually looked like a strength.
He's
last
cleaned
night.
it
I mean,
up for sure.
I mean, it's one game, obviously. You know, like Strawther could miss every shot. Next game, we'll say he's a bum, and like you know what I mean? Like we're just like he was so impressive because he's made his shots. Same thing with P-Watt, but his form looked better.
And by the way, I think a lot of you're right with P-Watt though. I do agree with this, but it is similar to like Hunter Tyson shot 60. He missed more shots, more threes in game 1 of the preseason than the entire summer
That's
league.
what I mean.
And now we're like, yeah, he was off.
We're I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a zero-way player.
Yeah. So anyway, but I did P-Watt. You talk about liking to watch how guys move. He is one of those guys that. He's still clunky sometimes, like handling the ball or doing this stuff. But the way he moves, just like running or jumping and
Don't
stuff,
his
is
strides look enormous
yes,
to you?
that's what I mean. Is he has the longest?
Nuggets have never had a player like Peyton
Dude, he
Watson.
looks
He's
like
so unique.
Yeah, he's like a cat. He's like
Yeah, he's like a
He's
cat.
predatory.
He stretches.
Yeah.
He crouches
Cheetah.
and stretches.
Kind
you
of
know?
looks like he's moving slow, but he's covering ground.
Jaguar.
yeah.
No, Jaguar's a lot thicker. If we're going, I think Cheetah is probably in the range.
I
we're
think you have to
talking
say
here.
Jaguar. I said Jaguars on the Broncos show, and someone was like, "This MFer said Jaguars." I was
Apparently,
like,
I
"Oh,
don't say
man."
wolf right. So
You don't.
You
say
say
that
it
again.
like woof, woof, woof.
So
Yeah,
we
you
all
do
have
say
we have a
wolf
hard time with our
21.
animals. We have a really difficult time with our animals. No, it's definitely cheetah though. If we're doing animals. Here.
My number 2 player, my number 2
I could say a
standout from
serval.
last
I
night,
could
and
say
a guy
serval.
we probably didn't spend enough time on was Zeke Naji. I don't know if you guys saw the video from the Nuggets locker room after the game last night.
Yep.
I did.
Zeke Naji won the defensive player of the game chain. And I thought what David Adelman said was really interesting. He pointed out how Zeke Naji switched 1 through 5, guarded every position the entire game.
Yep.
And the exact quote from David Adelman was, one second, he said, "That's a very special talent that he has." So I thought that was really interesting and really notable how David Adelman put that shine on Zeke Naji and said, look, this is something that he can do that not a lot of other guys can do. And overall, I thought it was a really positive game for Zeke.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Zeke is a guy that the microscope is definitely on him this year because for a team that is as deep and as varied and as big as it is, the backup five is like the one real question, I think, for this team. Like, is it going to be Zeke? If not Zeke, is it going to be DeAndre Jordan? Like, are we really going to have like that be our guy? That is it going to be done by committee? Is it going to be, times where Aaron Gordon slots into that five like we saw from time to time if you play small? But that's the most encouraging thing possible. Like, because so much is potentially required of Zeke that he stepped up in that way last night.
Well, if you guys want a big, Kai Jones has been waived. Just saying. He's available.
I wonder who's number one.
I would actually rather have DeAndre Jordan.
It would be
10 times out of 10 than
I would
Kai
love
Jones.
if it wasn't Julian Strawther and he was on the graphic.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, one is Julian Strawther, who I have said played pretty much a perfect game last night.
Yeah.
He scored 20 points.
Yeah.
He rebounded, 3 assists as well, 0 turnovers. Very few mistakes. I don't know if you could have drawn up a better debut for a rookie than what Julian Strawther did last night.
All right, let's do this real quick. Scale of 1 to 10 on the hype meter, because it's game 1 of preseason, right? We want to be tempered. 10 being like, I'm out of control. Like, I'm going to say 1 being like, you're totally skeptical. That was a fluke. Where are you at on Strawther right now? Strawther hypometer for vote.
Hypometer.
6 out of 10.
Man, that's very measured of you.
It's I don't think it's a fluke.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a longer list of guys than we realize that could score 20 points in a preseason game with some open looks. Not the longest list in the world. I'm not trying to take too much away from him. But he did it and he looked good. He relocates well. He shoots well. I have questions about him getting to that floater in the NBA, but it went down. So
he got to it a lot yesterday.
He got to it and it went down.
He's big,
and he defended well. So it's if you have to pick encouraging or discouraging, it's of course very encouraging.
But you're still measured. You're still
it's a preseason game. Yeah. It's a preseason game.
Where are you at?
I'd say I'm at about a 7, a little higher.
Yeah.
We don't skip steps. 6, 7. That's what I'm going to be.
Yeah. Going back to what Vogt was saying, I don't even think he was that open on his 3.
Some of them, yeah.
He was open for Julian Strawther because what Julian Strawther considers open, I don't think everybody considers open.
That's a good point.
He hit a 3 that was a couple feet behind the line. The 2 others he hit were pretty contested, I thought. But those are shots he just takes.
I love David Adelman. Katie Wingy did a great job. Shouts to her, the only person in the media there at this game, posting clips of the presser. And one of the things David Adelman said that I loved is he said, what I liked is he missed 2 shots right away, but he understands his job is to shoot, not to make, or something of that extent. He was out there just knowing, like, I'm out here to shoot, just keep shooting. And to me, he has that mentality that it's like, he's going to have some 1 for 11 nights, but he's going to have some 9 for 10 nights.
Right. And that floater is wet.
It is a wet.
That thing is pure.
8.
Let's go.
I really am not even joking. It's not that I think that he is that guy every night and that's what we can expect from him, but he can do that. That game exists. We saw it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's a great take.
So, I don't know that we're going to be like, oh man, it's going to be the Julian Strawther show every night, nor should it be. But, he had kind of the best qualities of Jordan Poole at times, and he had the best qualities. Last night, the only thing that would, I'm in 8, obviously high, and it's. I would be much higher, but I'd be like a 10.
It's not about last night.
If this was the first time I saw him, I'd be like, holy. That's a 10.
Yeah.
But we saw him not be able to knock it down in summer league. But who knows what all of the dynamics are like that on a team like that. But the fact there were the number of players that were on the court last night, he was by far and away the best one for both teams.
I'm going to go 7, so we're going to go down a step here. Sometimes you have to go down to go up. I will say,
you're still not skipping steps.
I'm still not skipping any steps, 1 step at a time. I'll say this. I was very encouraged. And when you said there's a lot of guys that can score 20, you're right. But it's the way he scored it. Because he could have. And then when you compared him, said the best parts of Jordan Poole, I would disagree with that in one way of saying Jordan Poole's like Bones. It's spectacular. You see him do something and you're like, that's high upside, but there's things to do. To me, Julian Strawther didn't make mistakes yesterday, which is harder than making great plays, in my opinion, to not make mistakes. And then his shots came in ways that I'm like, oh yeah, those are the shots he's going to take. And to your point, they weren't wide open. They were moderately open, and he's tall and has a quick enough release that that's all you need. That's such a valuable skill. He demonstrated it at an extremely high level, and he was doing things that he's going to be doing for the actual Nuggets games.
Definitely.
And to me, I'm 7. I would say a big 7, maybe 7.5. You know, because I really, really loved what I saw from him.
We don't skip half steps.
We don't skip half steps. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, NBA rank. I'm actually excited to talk about NBA rank, guys. Am I a new person? Let's find out.
Guys, Kind Love is a official partner of DNVR.
Actually, you know what?
Hang on, Harrison.
Let's have Kale take
cut
this
off
one.
already.
Big announcement. Big announcement.
You've been cut off, Wind.
That's right, guys. We've been teasing this for a very long time. We actually did it. We have our own joint pack, the Immaculate Vibes 5 joint pack, available only at Kind Love. We worked with the good people at Kind Love. It's right here. I've got it in my pocket. It's nice and convenient.
Hey, why did you guys pick Vote to do the commercial?
What are you talking about? That's just a person.
Oh, that's just a person. That's right. That's right.
It's just a generic vibe for vibeful.
Coincidentally, I did go home a little early that day.
Yeah, I will say that this stuff does work. It is effective.
It's real marijuana.
It is effective, and honestly, like this is like something we've wanted to do for a very long time. Kind Love was kind enough to want to take the leap with us, and so hopefully you'll be interested enough to go try it out. We're very proud of this. It's very cool. If nothing else, like it's a cool package you can just hang on to.
It's super cool, man. It's super, super cool. And do us a favor. So these are all at Kind Love. Shoot us a photo. You know, if you're comfortable with it, shoot us a photo. Let us know you're doing it, man. That always really, when we do collabs like this, we love to be a good person. We've got this one. We've got all these different collabs that have been coming along, especially this year, and we want to keep that thing going. So really check this out. It's a super dope collab.
And that code DNVR will get you 25% off the joint pack as well, and everything else with your order. So,
that's awesome.
Gotta love Kind Love. Yeah, I've tried it. It's good. Can confirm. Game Time is really dope as well. Different kind of dope, though. Gets you into the arena, and when you're having a really hard time finding the best prices on the best seats at the last second, this thing it's a savior of an app. When I first got to Denver, before I was credentialed, I was trying to go to every Nuggets game I could. I was just trying to be around you fellas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was stressful. I didn't know where the best place to get tickets were. I didn't know if I was paying too much. I sure wish I had Game Time. Now I do. Be like so many. Download the Game Time app now. Check out the best events in Denver and find the best seats for the best prices at the last minute. Download the Game Time app now and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase.
Every year, ESPN starts off the NBA season by doing their player countdowns, their rankings. Yesterday, we talked about where Michael Porter came in behind a bunch of players that, like, come on, get out of here, get real. Aaron Gordon, we were like, 51, all right, this or that. But that was because it only went up to 51. We didn't get the top 50 until today. Jared Allen got number 50. Jared Allen got number 50. He's a really good player. I like him a lot.
Above Aaron Gordon.
Is he spectacular?
To me, him and Aaron Gordon are similar in terms of like, hey, they do their job and they kind of stay in their lane and this or that. One of them won an NBA championship.
Adam, one of them could stay on the floor in the playoffs.
Hang on.
One of them couldn't.
What is Jared Allen?
Against the Knicks.
Where do you guys see Jared Allen on the internet most frequently right now? Is it on
Trade Machine?
Is it on a meme? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that meme say?
Enough?
the lights were brighter than we expected.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that's...
You guys, honestly, it gets worse. It gets worse. Let's scroll up one more,
Oh,
Kale.
man,
Let's scroll up one more.
I've not actually looked at this.
Me
full
neither.
list.
Oh, you're
gonna love
I've got
it.
my
I haven't
outrage.
seen
meter.
these rankings
We were
yet.
not ready to be outraged. DeAndre Ayton!
Oh,
DeAndre Ayton got ahead of...
brother.
Didn't we have a series? Didn't we have a series where these guys played as the number 3 guy?
They just traded him for Yusuf Nurkic.
Yes. Can you imagine the Nuggets trading
That's
him for
what people
Nurkic?
think of him.
Dude, basketball on paper sucks.
Basketball. This is my actual takeaway. I'm actually not mad. I'm more
Bro.
just interested in this conversation. DeAndre Ayton, guys. Aaron Gordon to me should get. I mean, and he did get a big bump. What was it, like 15 spots he moved up for winning the title? He got a good bump. But then you start to see these names, and you're like, how are we? You got to rank guys almost like if they're a number 1, and then it's weird because if you're a not good enough to be a number 1. You somehow get placed ahead of guys who are number 2s, right? And for some reason, like being a bad number 1 is better than being a good number 3 or whatever. And that's how this whole list, as I'm going through it, I'm always like, come on, man. Like one guy like does a role at the 10 out of 10 level, and the other guy's teammates hate him.
Yeah. It's almost like for these rankings, they just put everybody in a vacuum.
Yep, that's
the
exactly
thing.
it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I
Or,
get that.
or
I
it's
get
just
that.
like a big one-on-one game.
Yep.
And we know
Like a one-on-one tournament for NBA
but
ranks
you know
top
how
spot.
these things go too. At a
Right,
certain
we've
point, you're
done
like,
it.
he likes him. He likes him. I don't know. He had 18 points. He had 17.5. Whatever.
Yeah.
You just have to be like point to something, even though there's
Yeah.
not a stat for that dog in him.
This is like back in the day, Zach Lowe did the league pass rankings, and he had a formula. And the formula made it so like the Charlotte Hornets were number 1 because like court design was one of the factors, and they scored really high with their honeycomb thing.
I will say though, lists are interesting in that they almost never actually reflect any one person's list.
Yep.
They're this right. There's this attempt at a consensus that don't actually reflect a consensus. We know this. We've done top lists at DNVR. Very fun to do.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
difficult
Kinda.
to do. The hardest part is keeping your logic consistent.
Yeah.
Right. So the in the vacuum versus, well, I really like how he plays in his role. It does get really difficult when you take everyone out of the team context. Where are you valuing what, and do you value it as much as the person across the table from you?
Yeah, I mean, we did our best 25 athletes, was it, in Denver sports history, and I loved it. And it was one of those things where people were so outraged.
It really
And
almost tore the company apart.
It almost tore, well, the company argued over it, of course, but even when you post it, people are like, that's insane. And then everyone would list a different 10. You know, they'd be like, you guys are idiots. And then nobody's 10 matched. And you're like, well, I guess we're all idiots, everybody on
right.
earth. But to this one, again, outrage is fun, and I'm going to lean into it just for fun.
Yeah.
But to me, it is more the point you're making, which is basketball, and the Nuggets in particular, break the idea of rankings because the Nuggets have so many guys that are less than what they actually are to make more to make the team more than it actually is.
Yep.
I love this one though. Chris Middleton, 46. Chris Middleton, 46.
It's pretty middle.
It's pretty middle.
I'm not
Chris
mad
Middleman.
about that. I like
Me neither.
Middleton.
The reason I bring it up, we're putting this on paper early. The Bucks' big 3 is better than the Nuggets' big 3 on paper. I just want to put it out there. We know who's going to be 1-2, right? We know Jokic, Giannis are going to be 1-2 in some order. I'm sure Jokic will be 1. But they seem to think the number 2 and number 3 are both better. So if we do meet in the finals and Denver wins, I just wanted to make sure that this is like a consensus opinion going in.
I can't wait till they reference that on grabbing the trophy. They're like, ESPN rankings.
It is.
You don't like this? I thought it was
It
cool.
is very possible that Dame to Milwaukee, bolsters Giannis's title chances, but really eats into the MVP chances. And I do think that Jokic and Giannis are probably the easiest. I want to say Luka, but I just don't think Dallas is good. So you just say Giannis and Jokic, and to the point you just made, right? If the case is that one of them already has the better big 3, none of these Denver guys have been all-stars yet. This could all benefit Jokic's MVP case this season.
CJ McCollum's number 45, and it might be my single most ridiculous number on this entire list. The Pelicans have their third best player better than Denver's third best player. Think about that for a second.
Well, basketball is played on paper, Adam.
Do you not find this one particularly weird?
This
McCollum?
is crazy. Yeah.
I didn't know
But the
McCollum
thing is-
had that high of a stock.
The thing is, I want to drag McCollum But I just keep thinking of him absolutely destroying the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs.
You're talking about 5 or 6
I
years ago?
understand.
But he's also really good on the Pelicans.
Obama era.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's still good. I'm not saying that he's still good. I'm saying it'd be a lot easier to call him overrated had that not happened.
McCollum, I'm just surprised because a lot of these names, like Bradley Beal comes in at 37, and it doesn't surprise me because like Bradley Beal's a very popular player. He was in the news.
But I saw our friends at the Suns are pissed about this because he dropped just because he's now the third option.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was in the 20s last year.
It's wild how much better their big three is than Denver's.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
On paper, it is.
It's so much better. I mean, they've got, their number 2's better. Their number 3 is like 15 spots better.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Their bench, too, way better.
It's crazy.
Man,
their X center's better.
No wonder their odds are better.
No wonder.
No wonder.
Jamal Murray came in at number 17. I think, again, this feels like right to me.
Yeah.
Jamal has some stuff to prove still to climb higher than that. But Jamal, to me, is the guy that got the most respect out of this title run from the Nuggets.
Absolutely. I mean, he's vaulted up into,
33
the
spots.
next star tier. Like, he is in the you're next up tier now. And I think it's the right spot for him to be in.
33 spots in this list. So this is the biggest championship bump in any sort of kind of media way we've talked about wanting to see. It goes to Jamal. And the logic right there is just what he did in the postseason. So it is, I actually think that's a great ranking.
Yeah.
I think if Jamal is who he was in June all the time, he's a top 10 player,
Yep.
but he's not. But he did do what he did in June, and that matters more than everything else. So I like 17.
So here's where this is for him. It's almost the opposite context as the Aaron Gordon one, where when I saw the number, I'm like, that's right. And then you see the guys ahead and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Let's look at the guys behind. Paul George, 18.
Right.
Murray now ahead of Paul George. I love that. Paul George's my guy, but that's a lot of respect. Jaylen Brown, 19. Jaylen Brown?
Got to work on that left hand.
Kawhi Leonard, 24, which is kind of hilarious. So they have Paul George as the best player on the Clippers. I don't know this list. It's
Kawhi
so
Leonard
weird.
at 24 is actually a little crazy.
I mean, I don't know,
He should
guys.
be higher.
Why? He looks like a best player in the world for one playoff game and then didn't play again.
Yeah, no, that's exactly why. Is they're like, I don't know if he actually plays basketball or not.
I mean, like, you're right. Obviously, when you're right, like, he's a better player, but he just doesn't
He's
play.
a better player than Paul George.
You're right. You are right. But he doesn't play.
Also behind him, Drew Holiday, 26. Kind of falling a little bit there.
Yeah, I feel like the secret's out on Drew Holiday a little bit.
Drew Holiday, by the way, people are really like questioning if he's still good, which I think is funny. I think he might have become underrated.
See, if Drew Holiday
Yes.
takes the Aaron Gordon route in Boston, he'll be perfect.
You're right.
If he looks at Aaron Gordon and says, man, if I just come in here, defend and play my role and take a little back seat to the two Jays, we can win a championship.
You think he's underrated now? Give him a month in a Celtics uniform.
You're so
He's
right.
Go
He's gonna be
so
three.
hard.
If he does that, the Celtics can win a championship.
Yep.
If he comes in there and wants to be Drew Holiday on the Bucks, where he's like trying to take over in fourth quarters, they're not winning a championship.
How about this one, D-Line? Trae Young, 29. He's really fallen.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, he's been exposed a little bit in the last year or two. Man, the reason I feel like Jamal has risen so high is because of just people seeing him play. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I mean, truly, like, there's so much, and a lot of it is also like he spent a lot of the seasons underperforming, and but like to me, the ship has been righted.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, oh, wow, that's a big leap. It's like, no, this is who he's always been.
Yeah.
This is the player that he is. We spent all this time, complaining about if only Jamal Murray was, and all this stuff. We're like, yeah, no, it matters. Like, this guy's so good. It's so weird that people discount him, but they don't watch him, and he's not healthy a lot of the times. You get it. So, but yeah, I'm Trae Young. I'm not surprised. He totally got exposed.
Well, also, there's a timeline with not that long ago, he was a conference finalist, right? That's a fact. He led the Hawks to the conference.
Yeah,
he
in a
led
fluke run.
He led the Hawks to a conference finals. No, it happened, right?
They beat the Knicks.
And the Philadelphia 76ers. And with some time, I think it's gone from, wow, look what Trae did to Jesus Embiid. Like, come on, dude. How did you? That happened on you. Let that happen.
You're like, who did he beat? Just the 76ers.
The
I mean, come on,
76ers.
man.
Yeah.
Everybody beats the 76ers.
It's a free win.
Right.
free
2 years
win.
ago, we go, maybe he's better than we thought. And they're like, no, it's actually Embiid's bad.
On the other side of Jamal Murray, we have Bam Adebayo at 16, right ahead, which is like, I understand people want to get frustrated with this one. We just had a playoffs. The Nuggets won. It was pretty even or easy. I just can't be too upset about that, especially when you're talking point guard versus center. It's like, what are we doing? Like, I can't be too mad. Or can you?
Bam is perennially overrated. I don't know why. Like,
because he can switch.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I say this all the time, but like when
So can Zeke Naji.
Yeah,
I was just going to make the same joke, Quint.
That's so good.
But I say this all the time, like you really don't realize a player's true value until you find yourself rooting for him as your own player. When he was the USA center, I was like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
But then,
You know
but
what
then
he
every
is?
other time I'm like, oh yeah, he's pretty good.
Actually, this is a scorcher. This is a scorcher of a take. Bam is a little bit, to me, and I love Bam. I think I'm impressed by his skill. Bigs that can do things, I'm impressed. He is a little bit in the Dame camp of, he's so specialized to the NBA specifically that like then you go outside of those things. It's like, it's not that valuable if you do this at this league. We need you to be big man things, and he's 6'9". Yeah. Donovan Mitchell 15. I'm a little bummed by that one, but whatever. Donovan Mitchell's the anti Jamal. Those two guys to me are the yin and the yang of this, to where
Well, he's an 82 game player.
I just know Murray's better than Donovan Mitchell. In my heart, I know it.
Yeah, it's because Donovan Mitchell scored 70 points.
Yeah, he did.
There's just like little things that
That's
when
actually-
you're having a conversation. Yeah, they're like, oh man, he's really heated it up. 70 points? That's Kobe. And then you're like, well, this guy won the
Title.
championship. You're like, well, but that was only a few games.
Dame at 14. So again, Bucks, their number 2's better. Their number 3's better.
We just need to fast forward to the finals. Nuggets, Bucks.
And then the one that I think's a little silly, Anthony Edwards 13. I love Anthony Edwards. I love him. This feels just a little early. I love Ant, but it is a little strange that we're giving him something that we all expect him to do soon, if not this year. Yeah. But that's like, he hasn't actually done that yet. And he got the bump above all these other guys.
I was told he's the new face of the NBA. Does that
if he went to the Clippers, he'd be the best player on the Clippers. Which is weird. Like, come on, guys. What?
Yeah, I think he should be closer to like 20, or 23 than 13. But he also saying that, knowing by the end of the season, he could very much look like that guy.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, more things to talk about. GM survey.
More outrage.
Nice.
More outrage corner.
Outrage quarter on the other side.
Breckenridge Brewery is the official beer of DNVR. Check out the beer of the month, the Broncos Country Pale Ale, $6 at the DNVR bar all month long. Try out some of our other favorites as well, the Avalanche Amber. It's almost that season. Mile High City, the Broncos Country Pale Ale, the Fun Slinger. They've got Good Company hard seltzers as well, if that's your thing. Juice Drop IPA, they've got that on tap here at the bar. Also, check out the Breck Brew Beer Locator. If you're looking for a liquor store or grocery store to get Breckenridge Brewery, just type in your zip code. Shows you where to get Breck Brew no matter where you are. Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR.
Man, when I get hurt in an automobile and it's not my fault, you know what I do?
Go to Portland to cover the Nuggets.
I was going to say, like,
I do.
you keep living in Denver.
Yeah, I do go to Portland. You know what I should have done instead? Called Backus and Shanker.
You should have.
At 222-2222 to set up a free consultation when you've been hurt in an automobile or as a pedestrian, even just at work, and it's not your fault. You can call them for free. That consultation is free. In fact, them taking on your case is free until they've won you money. And they do that. They've won over $1 billion for their clients over the years. Backus and Shanker have the strength and power to win your case. More than 30 lawyers and 100 folk on staff. Call them at 222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free, because Backus and Shanker, they win.
Oh, the Jamal Murray of lawyers.
That's right.
There you go.
What if Jamal was like, you don't have to pay me my contract until the finals, but once I'm the best player, then you have to give me the whole thing.
Once we win the championship.
Right, then you have to give me the whole thing.
Dope. The annual NBA GM survey, all the GMs participate. They send in their answers, and there's always some fun ones. Let's just kind of roll through this one. Which team will win the 2024 NBA Finals? According to the survey,
Says
there's a tie. There's a tie vote at the top.
I can
Denver
live,
Nuggets.
I can live with the tie.
33%. Boston Celtics. 33%.
Here's the argument for Boston that
I'm actually
everyone
surprised by this.
Here's the argument for Boston that I think makes a lot of sense, and not enough people have put it forward. Like, eventually they have to, right?
Yeah, like if you see a roulette wheel, it's like black,
So
you're
many
like, it's got to
tries.
hit red.
They're right in it. They're at the top of the survey every year. Like, eventually they'll win it.
Yeah.
I need to find out who the GM is who keeps voting the Clippers.
I know.
Who is this guy?
Daryl Morey.
Reveal yourself.
This is so true.
Who's the one GM who keeps putting the Clippers into this one?
The Bucks got 23% of the vote. The Suns get 7%, which I think means 2 votes, and the Clippers got 3%, which means 1.
So that's James Jones and Isaiah Thomas.
So this is one where it's almost a 3-way split between the Nuggets, Celtics, and Bucks. You're surprised by it?
I'm surprised. I would have guessed that it would have been the Bucks up top. They are the very sexy pick at the moment. So I was expecting to be outraged that the Nuggets were third.
Oh, yeah.
I'm outraged that they didn't put us on the same line as the Celtics. I'm looking at it right here.
I think they went alphabetical.
Yeah, they did.
Doesn't matter. I'm should have gone historical precedent.
Yeah,
I'm still outraged.
Why is alphabetical the default? Like, why is that? Why is that how?
Let's
things
get
That's a
are?
great point. It's a great point.
I do think the Drew move makes them much better suited to beat Milwaukee, and I think those are the 2 teams out east. So I really do get it from that perspective.
Yeah.
I do.
If you just look at the Eastern Conference, 53% of the vote went to Boston being number 1. 43% went to Milwaukee. 1 vote came in for Miami to win the Eastern Conference, but lose to the Nuggets again, apparently. So
I respect that, actually. I respect that a whole lot more than that Clippers vote.
what? Yeah, for real. Because they've actually done it.
Yeah,
They've actually gone to
I
the
have
finals.
respect for the Heat.
They're the opposite of the Clippers. You're right.
You're right. They are the
They go to the
anti-Clippers.
finals every year, and we just
Yeah.
refuse to give it to them.
They're like exactly on
Because
opposite ends
it
of the
never
country,
makes sense.
too.
You're like, what? 8 seed again? Like,
right.
And then they got 3%. They got 1 vote for second place as well. In the Western Conference, the Nuggets 70% of the first place vote, followed by Phoenix at 23. 1 vote went to the Lakers. 1 vote went to the Clippers.
I think that's right.
Oh, so smug.
Nobody had Denver. 1% had them third in the West. Nobody had them fourth.
Third.
Why would what?
The guy that had, I'm sure, somebody had New Orleans as
What
second.
kind of maniac would like? What would it take for you to be like, I don't know, I got to see it again.
There is such a clear tier between the Nuggets and the rest of the West.
Yeah.
It honestly hasn't been like this, I feel like, since the Warriors were in their dynasty. That there's been this separation between the number 1 and the field in the West.
Golden era represent. People see it. They feel it.
Who will win the Kia MVP? Nikola Jokic,
Got to get Kia in there.
43%. I had to do it. 43% for Jokic, almost half. Giannis, 20%. Ya boy Tatum, 13%. Luka, 10%. And a handful of players each got 1 vote. Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So Jokic, 43%, D-line.
I mean, what are you going to say, man? What are you going to say? Like, no meaningful basketball has been played since Nikola Jokic showed beyond the shadow of a doubt that he is an NBA Titan, a champion, an MVP, like just all of the superlatives that you can heap onto Nikola Jokic. He vanquished every foe, be them actual or in the media or some like weird shadow idea. Like Nikola Jokic made everyone shut up in a way that I've never seen happen in debate and in actual competition. Like,
Yeah.
like at this point, it's just foolish to continue to be like, well, I don't know. Does he like basketball? Is he too into horse racing? Like, he's just that guy, man. Like, what are you supposed to say?
Well, and who are the other candidates right now? Giannis, I talked about that about 10 minutes ago. They added Dame. I think that helps the Bucks. I don't think that helps Giannis's MVP chances, like from a narrative perspective. Now they're the 1 seed, you know what I mean? They already were. So it doesn't feel like a win for Giannis in that way. And then again, to me, the only other guy that could really come and take it from those 2 is Luka. And you have to do a lot of buying into Dallas that I am not interested in doing to get there. So this makes sense. And then there's also the case where do the voters feel like they owe Jokic one? And I don't know if it really works that way.
I think it does a little bit.
Maybe
it does.
subconsciously there's a little bit there.
It's tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's there.
If Jokic is not top 3 in MVP, I would be shocked.
Me too.
Like, if he's not top 3 in MVP every single season for the next 3-4 years, that would be stunning to me.
Yeah. I love this next one even more. If you were starting a franchise today and could sign any player in the NBA, who would it be? Who do you think they pick number 1, D-Line?
I can see up here it's Nikola Jokic.
Jokic actually won this one, which to me is more surprising than the just like MVP one. Number 1 vote getter, 33%. Victor Wembanyama got 23% of the bet. Giannis, who got more than half the votes last year, down to 13%.
This is beautiful. It finally happened. Do you guys see what name is not on that list?
He did receive 1 vote. It's Jason Tatum.
I know, man, but
He's
I
way
have a
down
question for the NBA GMs out there. Who is starting a franchise with Joel Embiid?
He
got one
a vote. He did get a vote.
Who among you is starting a franchise with Joel Embiid?
Right now? Yeah, it's like,
Right
come on.
now.
That's wild.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
the
got to be
Clippers
that
guy.
same guy.
There
Daryl
is one
Morey.
bad GM out there. You're
Charlotte's
right.
GM?
Daryl Morey.
Find this GM and
Charlotte's-
try to trade with this guy.
is it
Because he has no idea what he's talking about.
You're right, man. There is one terrible vote in every one of these answers. There's one GM that's just like,
Joel Embiid?
Just voting for
I would
chaos.
rather start my franchise with Tyrese Maxey than Joel Embiid.
Whoa.
And I think I'm right.
I love
I
Woodward
mean,
Cooks.
I don't know.
Bro.
Actually, well, whatever.
You were going to say he's become underrated, but the thing is he's 30. Like,
No, I know, but it's like he's become such a laughingstock in a way that you're like, okay, like come on. I mean, like in the context of who would you start a franchise with, I'm completely with you. Like he's not a guy that you. I mean, he's a perennial disappointment in the playoffs. When the moment is biggest, he is the smallest. All of these things that you don't want as the cornerstone of your franchise. But it is wild how far the pendulum swings, and it's because of the nature of the NBA. And it's all lists and outrage, so that's how it happens.
I know.
Yeah, but I think first of all, I think this one specifically though I think it's really hard to make a case that you would rather start with Joel Embiid from scratch.
It is insane.
Going forward, because you could make a case
it's
that's
an
like,
insane thing. If you have your pick of the entire league, it's an insane
is
choice.
Embiid still a dominant MVP candidate in 3 seasons? I think that you have to kind of like really talk yourself into that one. Just
sure.
with given his health.
Definitely.
And then Victor Wembanyama probably in the league for 15 more years. Giannis, you know what I mean? Like, so
You know what poll I want to see? Same question to only Sixers fans. Is
no, they'd be way lower.
I think it might even be lower. On
It would be
at
way
this
lower.
point.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you from firsthand experience. It would be way lower.
I like our guy in the comments who thinks it might be Calvin Booth trolling.
Oh, can you imagine if Cal was just effing around?
Dude, I would totally do that.
Yeah.
Just to like throw these things off because it's like, I'm like, hopefully they'll read my list and they'll stop doing these.
Yeah, I know that some media members for Tim Bontemps straw poll would do that. He'd be out there like, I'm not giving my real answers. I'm going to mess with the poll. So take that for what you will. Which play? This
that's
one's
cool.
Yeah, it's really
what
cool.
What a cool thing to do.
This is
Throw the
guys. Which player forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments? This one was really interesting to me as well. Steph Curry still number 1. Still number 1. Jokic came in number 2. So Steph Curry 40%, Jokic 33%, Giannis 13, Luka 10, Embiid 3. Nobody else got
who
votes.
keeps voting for Joel Embiid?
Zero outrage over this. I think this is one of
Who
the,
is this guy?
other than wins outrage, which I'm with. I actually think this is one of the best ways to describe the impact of both Jokic and Steph Curry.
Right.
2 of the all-time, and not top 20, like top 5, top 10, just your whole game plan's got to be about what they want to do and what you're trying to force them into not doing.
Yeah.
And Steph will be so far beyond his peak, and teams will still be picking him up so high.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that it's been since he hit his peak.
And then Jokic, it's like you almost don't make an adjustment because you're like, what's the point? Well, he'll beat me this way. He'll beat me that way. Like,
Maybe we'll make him score 43 points tonight.
let's make him a score.
You got to spam the pickle roll,
Turn him
man.
into a highly efficient volume scorer.
Which player is most likely to have a breakout season?
Joel Embiid.
He did not get a vote on this
Okay,
one.
okay.
Anthony Edwards, 23% of the vote. I feel like that's pretty good. Cade Cunningham, I love that one. I love that pick. Franz Wagner, interesting. Wait,
Is Paolo on there?
You
Is
know
Paolo on
what?
there?
He is. He's 4th. He's right behind Franz Wagner.
That's incredible.
This is interesting coming from NBA GM.
That's incredible.
Huh.
Those
The
same
same-
MGMs that vote for Joel Embiid.
Well, I don't know if that guy's in here. Tyrese Maxey.
That
And the
qualifier,
Clippers.
that qualifier held a lot more gravity before we went through all of this list.
All I'm saying is that 4 people voted Franz Wagner, 2 Paolo Banchero.
And that's a definitive sample size.
I'm just saying. It's, it wasn't the one guy. It might be him and one other.
Hey, you're onto something.
I was gone during this time. The argument was that Paolo Banchero is not as good as Franz Wagner. Is that what the...
No. I thought they were like the same. I said I think Franz Wagner could be better than Paolo Banchero.
I actually agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Adam said he'd rather have Franz Wagner than Paolo. Like as
I
a
think
piece.
I would because I'm worried Paolo's going to become a mellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually would too.
I think
if
Paolo,
I'm trying to win a championship.
I think Paolo has all the skills to be better, but I'm worried he's going the Drew Hanlon route. He's
Don't
going to be working
explain
on
your
his
take.
triple
I want to
spins.
make fun of it. Don't explain.
Desmond Bain, Mikal Bridges, Tyrese Halliburton, Chet Holmgren, Kyrie Irving got a vote. This is definitely
For breakout?
Yes, for breakout player of the year. Kyrie Irving is
In
definitely
2024?
There's a GM. You're right. He's trolling.
We have to find out who this GM
Breakout
is.
of
Jaden
Breakout?
McDaniels.
Like a breakout of jail?
Jaden McDaniels.
He's going to break out of the NBA.
Evan Mobley, Alperen Şengün, and Zion Williams. All of those make sense except for
The
Kyrie.
breakout of the plane of existence?
I'm trying to think of who this GM is.
Who? Oh, you know
Give me
what?
a sec.
Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get to positional style. I love the GM survey. It's a gift that just keeps giving.
It's amazing.
So fun.
It really fuels outrage Twitter like almost nothing else.
But it's just like funny.
Guys, you can
no one's
become a
fault.
DNVR diehard member for only $6.67 a month, and
Shouts to us for adding that extra penny per month.
you can get so many perks when you become a DNVR diehard. First of all, you get a free t-shirt at every sign-up, designed by this guy. And you get a free t-shirt every year as well. You get 20% off all merch, always, 365 days a year. You get 20% off all events. You get access to the diehards only Discord. You get 15% off your tab at the DNVR bar. Exclusive merch. You get a physical DNVR diehard ID card. All of these things just for being a DNVR diehard. And it's only $6.67 a month. Coolest club you can be a part of. How you get it? Just go to thednvr.com. Click on Become a Diehard. You can sign up right there. Start reaping these rewards immediately. Sign up right now. $6.67 a month for the 1-year membership. And you get a free t-shirt right away.
Hell yeah.
Best deal in town.
You know when you're all sort of huddled around the TV and you're like, this is it. This is game right here. This is the play. This is the big one. You can turn every play into the big one, even these seemingly ordinary plays with Bet365, because at Bet365, it's never ordinary.
Never.
Even the moments that typically fly under the radar. If you are 21 and older and physically located in Colorado, you can gamble with Bet365, but please do it responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. And also, Bet365, never ordinary. They present our top 5, which Wind also busted out earlier in the show. So shout out Bet365, never ordinary. Download that up now, and if you're located in Colorado, get to bet and get to winning.
Yeah, man, if you're not watching the end of a game that's been long decided, sweating out whether or not one guy gets one more rebound,
Dude,
you're not watching sports right.
you're like, why are you going for 2? Why are you going for 2? This game's over. Why are you going?
If you're not like absolutely rooting for a deeply, fundamentally unsound play to happen, you're like, oh, come on, man, shoot it. You're not watching sports right.
Back to the GM survey. Who is the best point guard in the NBA? Steph Curry still at the top, 63%. Luka, this is the part I hate, is because the guys get votes for multiple categories. Luka comes in second, Shea third, Lillard fourth. Nobody else got a vote.
What was this category?
Best point guard.
Point guard.
Do you think Jamal Murray will get a vote next year?
The Nuggets win it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
At least one. But I don't know if people think about him as a point guard like in the same way.
That's the thing, is point and shooting guard. Like, who's the best shooting guard? Devin Booker, number 1, 63%.
Point book?
Steph Curry. No, shooting.
No, I know. But
Number 2, Steph Curry.
Who was
Steph
also
Curry,
in the
number 1 point guard and the number 2 shooting
Well,
guard.
very
Who
good.
considers Steph Curry a shooting guard?
Well, Chris Paul's on the
well,
team now.
He's played point guard his entire
Chris
career.
Paul's on the
but,
team
and,
now.
and if you do consider him that, how do you consider him the lesser of the two with
Yeah.
Devin Booker?
Who's the best small forward in the NBA? Runaway, Jason Tatum, 47%.
Uh-oh.
Kevin Durant, second.
So
Luka, third.
That's the one. I actually do think Tatum's better than all the names on this list right now in 2024. Except I think
Luka
Luka
and
is
LeBron?
suffering from a lack of clear position.
Yeah,
in this.
totally.
But to me, if you're going to make him a small forward, he is clearly the best small forward in the league. I do think Tatum, honestly, is better than those other names at this point, though.
Kevin Durant had 45% of the vote last year, down to 20%. So he's taking a hit. Best power forward, Giannis got 97% of the vote.
That one's clear.
That seems right.
Kevin Durant got 3%. He got 1 vote, so kind of interesting. And then who's the best center? You guys, throw in the towel. It's over. It's over. Jokic, 93% of the vote.
It's been over for a while.
93% of the vote. Anthony Davis got a vote. Embiid got a vote. Guys, didn't we have a series? Didn't the two centers go head to head? And didn't one get taken off? Maybe that's why get taken off the 3 quarters into the series. They were like, this ain't working. I can't believe Anthony Davis got a vote.
Anthony Davis got abused so badly in those first 3 quarters. I think he decided at that point he was moving back to power forward this season.
Yeah.
And he has done that.
He
no longer wants to play center. Doesn't want anything to do with it.
But also Rob Pelinka has a vote.
Maybe. It could be. I don't think can you vote for your own person? I don't
Of course.
know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you're allowed to vote for your own players.
It would explain the Embiid votes. But.
Here's what I'll say. I think Anthony Davis is closer to being a better power forward than Giannis than he is to being a better center than Jokic.
Yeah, probably.
Highest percentage of total votes by position, Giannis, Jokic.
Do we think next year, this time next year, October 11th, 2024, Nikola Jokic gets every vote, gets 100% of the votes for best center?
I think you can only get 97, I think.
Because you can't vote for yourself?
So I think you can't vote for your own guy, I think. So, no.
So what Calvin Booth has to do in this scenario is absolutely troll the voting. So he votes for, like, I don't know.
Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Do you think he has to motivate it? He can just put, like, Nurkic?
He votes for Zeke Naji, the Nuggets backup center, as the best center in the league.
Right,
so we know that's Calvin doing it.
Well, there's also GM survey fatigue you have to take into consideration.
Yeah.
It's all right. Voter fatigue real for GMs.
It's like, oh, this survey again.
Not affecting the Clippers.
You guys want to know that interesting one? Which team made the best overall moves this offseason? Celtics tied with the Bucks for 23%.
I actually think that's a bit crazy, man.
How dope is it, though? I think it's cool that they both split the vote.
No, I
They
did
both
too.
made good moves. Looks like they're splitting the vote right now.
They did make good moves, man. But like adding Dame to me is a much bigger move than
Porzingis and Drew?
I mean, the Drew move is a nice counter to Dame, so I get it. I think for me, a lot of people are looking at the Porzingis move like, that's sick. And so am I, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
I watched, Adam and I talked about this a little bit last night. He has a pretty powerful counterpoint, but I watched the first couple quarters of the Boston Celtics play with Porzingis in tow, and he looked awesome.
He did look awesome. I saw that too.
Like, awesome. I was like, oh, Jesus.
No, I mean, the
but
Drew
as
move is
Adam
huge.
pointed out, he's never healthy. So,
I mean, Joel Embiid's probably going to look great in the preseason, too.
The Drew move is
Spicy
good.
wins
The
the
Drew move
greatest.
is good.
Blazers got 17%. They came in at third. The Suns got 1 vote. The Blazers got 17%. People view that trade as a win for Portland, not Phoenix, which I think is great. The Lakers got 13%. Dallas got 7%. I'm telling you, this guy. And then the Rockets got 7%.
Wait,
the
what did,
Rockets.
what did Dallas do?
They got Grant Williams, dude.
My bad.
Yeah, we'll keep moving. I'm going to do some of these. I'm going to skip a couple of these. Which team will be most improved? Thunder got 30%. Rockets 23%. Mavs 10. Pistons 10. Magic 10. Warriors, Pacers, Lakers, Pelicans, Jazz all got votes. What I love about this, pretty flat, man. Pretty flat. I think people look around the league, and this is one of my takes. There is more parity than ever in terms of, like, the third best team and the third worst team are closer, I think, than almost ever.
also, the Rockets are going to be terrible.
Well, to be fair, they were terrible last
They're
year.
not going to improve, dude. We're talking about the 2 adults in the room that they signed were Dylan Brooks,
Jeff Green.
He's not going to play, but yeah, but like and
Jeff
Freddie
Green
Velvet,
can't save Houston.
but like with it's like the way. I mean, come on.
Let's see.
What else we got?
Rookie of the year. Wemby got 50%.
I kind of like Scoot.
I do too.
But I also lost this part last year for the same logic.
Yeah.
But I just think like it's a perimeter-oriented league. I think Scoot's probably more ready to do what he does well at the NBA level day one than Victor. I think there'll be a lot of experimentation. I just think Scoot's gonna have the ball in his hands. I think he's gonna have a chance to score.
Dude, I'm gonna sprinkle some cashola on Chet.
He looked good too, huh? He looked really good.
I'm a
sprinkle.
I'm a Chet believer.
I think that's a good bet. I like that.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be better than the Spurs or the Blazers.
Yes.
Yep.
Pretty significantly better, I think.
Don't forget Wemby's on TV like 50 times, remember? So that does factor into this. Sasha Vezenkov, by the way, got 1 vote. Sacramento Kings shooter. So
apparently by the way, that's a friend of the show, Voya's favorite international player. That guy's a bucket.
He likes him more than Jokic?
Unironically, a bucket. Well, Jokic, no, I'm just kidding. I won't finish that joke.
Rich Ricky will be best player in 5 years. Wemby got 90%, so people are higher on him long term than they are short term. Scoot, Chet, Amin Thompson all got votes. Where else do we want to go? Best international player, Jokic. 80% of the vote. Luka got 10%. Giannis only 7%. And then Embiid got a vote again. Another
He's
one.
playing for Team USA.
I was going to say.
Well,
yeah, that's a great take. Hey, hold on a second.
He considered Cameroon. I did too, for the record.
He had the 3 hats out on the table: USA, France, Cameroon.
I love this next one. You're gonna hate this one with D-line. Who is the best international player not in the NBA? Number 1, Nikola Mirotic.
What?
Number 2, Eddie Tavares, which I think is hilarious. He was actually good. I think he played for Real Madrid. I watched that championship game. Alex Sarr, I've never heard of. Zana Musa.
He's like the number 1 pick next year.
Zana Musa, and then Billy Hernan Gomez and Juancho Hernan Gomez get a vote. So
I can guarantee you
Cruz?
I love Juancho. It's not Juancho. I can guarantee you that. He's not the best international player not in the NBA.
That list looks a lot like international guys that GMs remember.
Totally.
Do you know what I
Nikola
mean?
Mirotic? Yeah.
Can we ask actual FIBA people to put that list together? It would look way different.
Yeah, it totally will.
Nikola Mirotic, is he like balling? Is he kicking ass?
He's balling out of control.
I
They're
don't
like
know.
Rudy Fernandez.
Yeah, I don't know.
who is the best head coach in the NBA? Eric Spoelstra got 73% of the vote. Ty Lue got 10%. Steve Kerr got 7%. Popovich 7%. Michael Malone got 1 vote.
I love it.
3%.
It's about time, man. It's about time.
Yeah.
Telling you. Get those futures in.
Which head coach is the best motivator? Spoelstra somehow won that one too. Steve Kerr, then Ty Lue, then Greg Popovich. Dagnott, Mosley, and Monty Williams all come in. Malone got a vote for best coach, but not best motivator, which I find really interesting. That's his best skill.
What he is. Yeah. Dude, nobody knows a single thing about the Denver Nuggets.
So
Coaching's really
Wait,
hard.
and I
though,
would
dude,
put
to guess
Dagnall
about.
in the other category.
I know, more of the tactician. Nope. But to your point, the tactician part, same vote, like same breakdown. I think people just were like same answers for both questions. Which head coach runs the best offense? Mike Brown, number 1. Steve Kerr, number 2. Michael Malone, number 3. Chris Finch, number 4.
To be fair, Michael Malone admittedly doesn't run an offense.
Yep.
So I think that's, I'm joking, but he does say he doesn't really coach offense. So
Best assistant coach in the NBA, Jordy Fernandez, 31%. Terry Stotts got 10%.
Canada bump.
David Adelman did receive a vote.
Oh,
Nice.
So there you go, our boy. Which active player will make the best head coach? Chris Paul always wins this one. He got 20% this year. Mike Conley.
Chris Paul might be a terrible coach.
A terrible coach.
Yeah.
That team will hate him.
Yeah.
Yes, they will.
There was a Nugget who received a vote.
Oh, really?
A current
it wasn't
Nugget?
Jokic. We know that.
Current Nugget received a vote.
Oh.
DeAndre Jordan.
No. I love this.
Aaron Gordon?
Nope. You guys are wrong. It is Nikola Jokic. He received a vote for
No
would be the
way.
best coach.
I love it.
Did
That's
they mean like
awesome.
Did they mean like a horse cut? Like a coach of buggy?
No, this
trainer?
is just Adam's question and answer that he got
I'm
out
just,
there into the
just
ether.
giving you guys answers
No,
here,
he
man.
I mean, honestly,
He would be an
There's
incredible
no-
coach, I think.
there's no
he'd
better
be a,
NBA.
he'd be a Popovich type.
there's no better NBA mind. It's just hard to imagine him
Yeah.
like wanting to apply himself in that way.
Hey.
But like, should he decide he wants to, he would be an incredible.
He
coach.
would be.
He's not going to coach, but I mean, like, I would bet a lot of money on that. But
No way.
he is watching coaching seminars, you guys. I'm just saying.
I actually think the hang up on Jokic being a good coach, and I don't know what the answer is here, is I think a guy like LeBron would suffer from this too. it gets a little hard for you to be like, how come you don't see that? How come you don't understand the game the way I get?
He's just doing this.
He just starts doing a lot of text like this. Do you know what I mean?
You know what though? He is the president and owner of KK Joker.
Oh,
there
man.
is. I don't think he'll go into real, head coaching, but I could see him totally, being involved in KK Joker in this like advisor role where he comes in every now and then and does some things and is very impactful. Which team is the most fun to watch? The Denver Nuggets, 30%.
I love this one.
I am amazed by this, actually.
I love
Golden
this one.
State, second, 23rd. Sacramento Kings, 20%. Suns get 2 votes. A handful of other teams get 1 vote.
It's
is
about
amazing.
time. It's time.
We've been told that they were boring.
Most fun team in the league, baby.
Unbelievable.
But this is
People watched them in the playoffs and were like, this team's awesome.
it's funny.
Pass?
Because of the injuries, we dropped this through line of, and it wasn't really us in Denver who started this. It was an ESPN article, but the Nuggets with the Golden State parallels. And last year we finally got the your great breakdown of the RIP DHO. It's you watch the Warriors and you're like, man, how the hell did Klay Thompson get open?
Yeah.
It's by design. And the Nuggets, they have this action now. It's very similar, and the myriad reads they have off of it where it's like, yeah, of course you're supposed to guard Mike, but we made it difficult for you. And they had third quarters and runs where you were like, oh, no one can hang with this team.
Yeah.
So
there are people tweeting it in the playoffs last year. How's anybody going to beat this team? And you're like, they're not.
They're not.
Best home court advantage. Nuggets get 37% of the vote. That's number 1. Which team will have the most efficient offense? Denver Nuggets come in number 1, 34% of the vote. Which team's toughest to predict this year? 76ers number 1, 30%.
I don't
Dallas
think it's that
Mavericks number
tough.
2.
I'm going to go with second round exit.
You're the best. Which team is the most promising young core? OKC came in number 1 there. My Magic came in number 3. Most athletic player, Ja Morant. Giannis came in second. Anthony Edwards
Did Kai
third.
Jones get any votes there?
No, he didn't get any votes.
He was toughest to predict.
Dude, best pure shooter, Steph Curry got 90% of the vote.
That's
Yep.
good.
Yeah, I'd
That's
say
right.
that's accurate.
I'd say that's accurate. Only 90%. I just think it's weird that he didn't get number 1.
Do you know who did sneak
you know
into
what's
that?
wild?
Do you know who did? Luke Kennard.
Yeah, well, I mean
But think
it's-
about that, like in the eyes
he's
of
a great
the
shooter.
in the eyes of the NBA GM, Jokic is a better center than Steph is a shooter.
Luke Kennard's in the category of
That's a
he's
great
not going to
one.
make any shots in the playoffs.
Which player is the fastest with the ball? Fox actually beat Ja Morant. I'm kind of surprised by that.
Well, Fox is.
Ja
He is
took-
real fast, but
Ja took a real hit this offseason. This was not a good year for Ja.
best with moving out the ball, Steph Curry. Which player has the best passer? Jokic wins. He won last year with 72% of the vote. This year, 67%. He has lost ground as best
He's
passer.
becoming
who?
a worse passer.
Who's 2?
Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and then getting votes, Tyrese Halliburton. James Harden got a vote. Chris
mean, he
Paul.
led the-
He is a great passer.
he led
He's a
the
great
league in
passer,
assists. That's what-
He's a great passer. He's a great passer.
He's great at passing the Henny.
Best
Let's
leader in the
go.
NBA. Any guesses? Don't pull it up yet, Kev.
Best leader?
LeBron James.
LeBron James, best leader. It bothers me.
That is
I think this
terrible.
one is old. This is like an old
Just
opinion,
take the
man.
same
You know?
results every year.
Last year was Chris Paul, by the way. So this year it's LeBron. Steph Curry 2,
something to
Jokic 3rd. Scrolling down to something. Best basketball IQ, Jokic, 50%.
This
of the
is
vote.
actually the one I might be most proud of. Best basketball IQ.
He's all grown up.
Smartest player in the league.
Yeah. Which player would you take with the game on the line, taking the shot? Steph Curry, number 1. Kevin Durant, number 2. Damian Lillard, number 3. Jimmy Butler, number 4, tied with Jokic.
Let's go. I'm glad Jokic made it.
I know, but come on. We know he's number 1.
He is number 1. He'll make it every time. Kevin Durant should not be on that list.
That does it. We ran along today because the GM survey is so freaking fun to talk about.
So fun that we're going to do a DNVR not GM survey. Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up, baby. We're going to give our own. All right, we got some super chats to get to.
It'll be the GD survey.
That's right. Mile High Sing on the topic of ranking and predictions. Where would it place Joker all time if he has the perfect season, MVP, back-to-back Finals MVP, and a ring and all NBA?
Probably right outside the top 10.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's where he's at now to every year now, it's so slow. You know what I mean? Like he just swung up like 50 or 70 spots.
Right.
But then
went
every
from
spot
out of the
above
top
this,
75 to in it.
yeah, to
Right.
end.
He's got to do this like 3-4 times.
But now it's like you're just catching up. All
7-8 times.
all the guys in the top 12 just have a lot of championships, so it's like takes a lot to climb up there. But you know, it'll happen. Knock on wood.
Addicted lawyer. That's how I like my lawyers.
La Jolla!
I'm from La Jolla, and sadly, I missed you guys last week.
Man.
Hopefully, the SEALs and fighter jets were nice to you.
Yeah, we had a good crowd.
Yeah, we were in La Jolla.
It was fun.
Hopefully, I can see you guys next year if you come again. Hi, Eric.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Mile High Sing. All the Nuggets are good.
That's right,
Thanks,
baby.
fellas.
They are.
Well, thank
Hell
you.
yeah.
And Drunk Philosophy. Good to be back. Let's do it again.
You know what? Let's do it again tomorrow night. Nuggets in Chicago to take on the Bulls.
The Bulls.
We'll be here for pregame. We'll be here for postgame. We'll be covering it.
I gotta think you guys won't be for here for it.
Maybe we might even get a little Michael Porter tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a little Jay Huff, D-line.
Buckle up,
I
Eric.
need it. I need to see it. Gotta see it. Gotta see it. Gotta see him. I gotta recalibrate my brain with him in a Nuggets uniform.
I hope he dominates. It'd be the greatest thing
Me
ever.
too, for the record.
Everybody, thanks for riding with us all day. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you. Oh, man.
We all silly like the mayor.